So you guys already know, I think this is one of the worst follow-up seasons to a beloved anime ever. Like, it's kind of commonplace now, you know, to where we're finally getting some season 2s or maybe even some season 3s of anime that we've been waiting for 3 years, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 10 years in the form of the Devil's a Part-Timer or Bleach, right? Like, Bleach is on another level, but, you just like, you think about that, right? It's like we've been waiting all of this time. And, for Masamune kun or like smartphone anime, right? We waited like 5-6 years for a sequel, right? I think both of those animes are good parodies of each other, of like expectations of, they both ended in 2017. And here we are in 2023, 6 years later, and we're finally watching the follow-up season. I think this is one of the worst follow-up seasons ever. And a part of me is just hoping that it gets done at some point. And, with this episode, right, we finally have Master and Masamune, she goes after him with, Aki's permission, essentially. She runs up to him and she kisses him or whatever, right? And I think, we have one episode left. And in my heart of hearts, I feel like, if this show was to end right now on this exact scene, I think that is better than what we're probably going to get next episode, which is going to be like more open-ended love triangle bullshit, right? Because right now, Masamune definitely has been struggling with his feelings overall, right? He finally picked Aki, to go after, for whatever reason, he picked her, even though he still has lingering feelings outwardly for Master and for Fujinomiya, right? So he picked Aki and he decided he's going to gift her. He got rejected, right? So boy got rejected. In the most kind, soft, lighthearted way, she said no, and she gifted him his gift back to him. And what did he do? He ran away. He went to his grandpa's house and just said, "It's been real," and he just left. And we don't really know, because we haven't seen from his perspective outside of the rejection. We don't know on why he really left. Like, is it just dealing with that rejection itself from Aki? Is it, I need to go rediscover myself, rediscover my purpose? I just need a break from life. There's so many different things. But regardless, I think Master coming and, coming after him and her displaying her real feelings, I think that is a super positive. And I know in my heart of hearts that this is not the end, unfortunately. And I know, based on the really shitty writing that we've gotten, whether it's direction of the studio, whether this is how the source material in the manga went, I know that we're going to be left with some kind of open-ended BS to hopefully get a season 3 someplace, and the love triangle will continue between Aragaki and between Master and between Fujinomiya. And that's just the way these kinds of stories that are very poorly written to try and continually grab the reader end up going. And I said it, maybe, I don't know if it was last week, maybe a few weeks ago, I said like, hey, I really feel like if this is kind of following how the actual source material went, this is very much a not definition, but this is very much a case of, you can really feel that the author may have had something. He may have written the initial story, not realizing that he had something. And then whether it was Jump or whatever, publication in Japan that he had, it feels like they were like, you got to give us more, you got to give us more. So he just kind of open writing, like a very Rent a Girlfriend kind of situation, to where like they just kind of like, okay, what else can we throw at it? You know what I mean? We can't just end, you know what I mean? So we're going to throw this and we're going to throw this at it. And, he's going to like Aki, but then Aki's going to say no. And then he's going to have Fujinomiya, but Fujinomiya, he's like, it really feels like it didn't have a purpose or direction. And it really sucks when you have shows like this, or that you have a piece of media like this, or material or source or writing, or, a book that feels like that. Because when it gets adapted, you really need the studios to take liberties and, kind of jump around in plot points to really make something succinct. But then the studios are also hoping for, a green light and maybe getting, more money to be able to do this and stuff too. That's why we had to wait 6 years. So it's like this whole rigmarole, and it just produces a really poor, bad product. And I think, again, that first season was unique and funny and has something really special. It's easily watchable and rewatchable. Like, you can go back and rewatch it right now. Still, like, if you pretend this season doesn't exist, you can go back and rewatch it and have like a really, really fun time. And I think that's what really makes it like really special. It's like you can rewatch it over and over again a couple of times, and it has that rewatchability. Season 2 doesn't quite have that. And that's the same thing that happened with smartphone anime earlier this year, and or even like Devil's a Part-Timer 2 or whatever it was. Like, the second season, like years later, it just kind of sucked. And that first season's like that golden season. So anyways, those are my thoughts. Like this episode, really nothing happened. Our boy ran away. Aki finally talked to Master in like a legit setting and was like, hey, here's the XYZ, you know what I mean? Like, we need to talk to each other as people. You're in love with them. She's like, even though Aki's still in love, like, she's like, you go after him. And Master does, which is good for her. And then she goes and kisses him, which I think is really good for all of this too. But I feel like there's going to be one of those situations where they just don't let it go, and they keep that door open and they try and force feed something else, which is going to really, really suck. But I would love if episode 12 just had Master and him, like, understanding each other's feelings, and then, like, they get together, and then it just ends. You know what I mean? I think that would be a much better thing. Even if, let's say, season 3 comes along, 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years from now, and then they reopen the door. I think that they really need to close it, or at least like make it 98% close, like that 2% chance. That way you can go and watch episode 1 of first season through episode 24 of, obviously, second season, and you can like be like, okay, we got to a end. So anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. You know what I mean? Again, disappointment written all over my face for this show overall. But I'm still here trucking along, and I, even Master not being, she's not the one that I would want. At this point, like, this story has been about Aki. It's been force fed into our face over and over and over. And for him to end up with anybody else is silly. But like, if it's for him to end up with Aki anyways at some point, like, then none of this should happen again. It's just lazy writing, and I don't like it. So anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys thought. All right, see you guys next week for the last episode. Peace out, my friends.